What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to go over some recent economic data. I'm also going to talk about some upcoming data you need to be aware of and watch out for. And I'm also going to take a look at what Bitcoin's been doing today. Right now, it looks like it's having a lot of trouble staying over 44,000. And let's get started. First off, we're going to look at the data that we just received today. We just received private payroll data from ADP, and it showed a drop in labor costs while also showing a jump in productivity. And an analyst, David Russell, says ADP's payroll data shows the anti-inflation treatment by the Fed is now really taking effect. And the numbers point towards a soft landing, but investors may start to worry about a recession if policy remains too hawkish. Now it's the Fed's battle to lose at this point. And that's not it. Yesterday, as of this upload Tuesday, the Labor Department showed job openings in October fell to the lowest level since March of 2021. We're talking years ago. And watch out for Friday because we have non-farm payrolls, wages, and the unemployment rate coming up. And we have a lot more to look out for. Next week, we have CPI and PPI coming out. And CPI is scheduled to be released on December 12th. And Producer Price Index, or PPI, is coming out on December 13th. And what I'm hoping for to see on CPI is a drop under 3.2%. And better yet, seeing twos for the first time, seeing under a 3%, which is what read we got back in summer. So if we can see a record low CPI in this print compared to previous months, that'll be a huge, great sign that the Fed can, cut rates in 2024, probably towards the back half. As they said, they want inflation at 2%, and it will take a couple of reads to get there, but I do believe we will get to that 2%. And as a side note, gas is plummeting. Crude oil is like $70 a barrel. I remember not long ago it was $100 a barrel, and that's definitely good for our wallets and inflation. Now I do want to show you guys PPI. Previously we had a 1.3%, so as long as we're under 1.3%, I think that's a positive thing for the market, and we actually got really close to being deflationary, at 0.2%. But if we continue seeing this come down, we should see CPI as well as PCE coming down. This typically leads the others. Now, I did want to touch on Bitcoin and just tell you guys to tread carefully. Bitcoin seems to be finding some resistance at 44,000. We're either going to consolidate here, get some sideways action, or we're going to pull back and test some previous levels. One thing to look at is just how overbought we are on the weekly. You would have to go back all the way to 2021 to see levels like this on the RSI. And what happened when we got to these levels, these overbought levels on the weekly on the RSI? Well, we went from about 38,000 down to about 32,000 before bouncing back up. So it took about 6,000 from Bitcoin. I personally don't expect a pullback as heavy as that. I think we can maybe lose 3,000, head back towards 40,000 and test that psychological 40. But let me show you what happened after it bounced back up. It ended up creating new highs. So as long as you were patient, even if you bought at the top on the RSI here, if you're patient, you still ended up in the green. But we went to these overbought levels once more, all the way to 57,000 to pull back and have that RSI cool off all the way down to 45,000 before recovering, breaking new highs again, and then having our huge pullback before we got into our second run. So while we are very overbought, just like we are here, keep in mind that this is still the beginning of the bull cycle. I do believe that even if you bought here and we have a pullback, you will end up back in the green at some point. In this case, it was only a matter of like 2 weeks. But Bitcoin will get to where it's overbought and get to where it's oversold. That's just the cycle of the market. And we definitely have a lot of people getting FOMO now, seeing Bitcoin finally breaking 40 and people just piling in. When we become overbought like this, I would be cautious. I still think Bitcoin's a solid DCA and will continue to be throughout most of 2024. But just exercise caution here. I would personally not be surprised to come down towards 40,000 to test, at which point I would be loading up on Bitcoin. But let me know what you guys are thinking today about Bitcoin, about today's economic data. How do you think we'll fare on CPI and PPI coming up? And let me know any recommendations for stocks you have in the comments below. Thanks as always, guys, and I'll catch you next time.